Music. Do we really know how important it is for us, for God, for those to whom we've been called to minister? Well, according to these guys, pretty important. Essential, actually, to creating a spirit of reverence in our meetings. And isn't that one of the things bishoprics have been struggling to accomplish since the beginning of, well, sacrament meetings? But not only can the effective and strategic use of music increase reverence in your meetings, but it can also promote feelings of unity, conversion, and of drawing closer to God. And isn't that what we all want? Now I could get into all the technicalities of how music is a powerful form of communication that affects body, mind, and spirit, or that it's so powerful you are actually capable of hearing music through your bones. Google it. Or how it's more effective in teaching than a lecture. Think about it. How many songs do you still remember from childhood word for word? And compare that with how many lectures you remember from your childhood word for word. I thought so. Or that how nearly every account of the heavens opening contains a witness that music is a constant recurring element in the heavenly realms beyond the veil. Music is woven into the tapestry of the eternities. So instead of getting into all that, I'm just going to prove to you why music is the most powerful communication tool you have at your disposal. So let's rewind to the beginning of the presentation. Now, just remember how you felt as you read those inspiring and instructive words. Let's do it again, but this time with different music. How does this one change how you feel? Or this one. What about this one? You see, this is why prophets today have said what they've said, and why the Lord has given us instruction on the important role of music in our worship, our learning, and our activities. It's also why your ward music chairman is your greatest asset in achieving a more reverent spirit in sacrament meeting. As I've been providing training for your ward music chairman, I have found a lot of frustration that can be easily alleviated in 8 simple steps. It all boils down to training. And I've trained most of them, but it takes 2 to tango, hence this training video is for you. Let's go. Now, bishops, you have a lot on your shoulders. That's why you have counselors. Assign one to serve as the ward music advisor. Invite them to study section 14 of the handbook too, as they are now responsible for supervising the music program in the ward, advising the ward music chairman, and representing the music program in leadership meetings. Now, with the exception of one of the steps, each step comes right out of the red handbook. Step 1. The number one thing that will eliminate most of the challenges faced by those in ward music callings is understanding the hierarchy. We're all familiar with the young men, young women organizations, Relief Society, that hierarchy structure because, well, most of us grew up in the church associated closely with those auxiliaries. But the music side of things? Yeah, not so much. Now, in the music arm of the ward, it's pretty simple. Everything starts with the bishop, then the ward music advisor, your counselor, the ward music chairman. Now, they're primarily responsible for music coordination in the ward. Then the ward music director, they select the hymns and conduct the music in sacrament. There's no calling of ward chorister. That calling just does not exist. So if you have someone called as the chorister, please phase them out or give them a promotion to ward music director. Then there's the choir director, choir accompanist, organist, and all the other auxiliary music callings for priesthood, Relief Society, etc. Now on the stake level, my responsibility as the stake music chairman is to train and support the ward music chairs. Step 2. Bishoprics call and set apart ward members to serve in music callings as outlined. Well, that's obvious, but who are you going to call? Don't go there. Now, to answer that question, let's think about this. Now, unless directed by the Spirit, you wouldn't consider calling a gospel doctrine instructor with 0 communication skills and 0 teaching experience, would you? If they lack the basic skills to communicate their message in a way that allows the Spirit to carry it to our hearts, How effective will they be? Since music is a deeper form of communication, does it not make sense to call someone to music callings who understands how to communicate through music and can speak that language? This must be taken into account when prayerfully considering potential candidates. This is especially important for the choir directors and accompanists. If there's no one in your ward who can play the organ or piano, that's fine. The church has electric pianos programmed with the hymns, or you can play instrumental versions of the hymns available on CDs, downloaded from LDS.org or played from LDS music apps. Now, the ward music chair does not really need to know music theory or how to play an instrument or sing, but they must have a fundamental understanding of the role music plays in our meetings and have respect for the counsel of those who are skilled musicians. Chairmen are primarily responsible for music coordination, organizing music training, and finding opportunities for developing musicians to use their talents and encourage them to continue developing their skills. Step 3. The bishop and his counselors choose meeting topics well in advance. This allows the music chairman, music director, and choir director to plan hymns, special selections, and choir performances that complement and reinforce the meeting topics. Now, I attended a ward that scheduled a special musical number right after the sacrament was passed and before the first speaker. I'd never seen that done in a ward sacrament meeting before. It was a primary age girl singing a beautiful arrangement of Give Said the Little Stream. In this big family ward, you could hear a hush fall upon the congregation. I remember the power and sweetness of the Spirit I felt and the personal revelation I received as I listened. It set the tone for the rest of the meeting. What did the speakers teach? Well, this long after, I really don't remember, but I do remember what was sung. It was obvious there was a symbiont relationship between the bishopric and ward music leaders. Across the board, this has been one of the biggest challenges those in ward music callings in your ward are facing right now. They cannot effectively plan appropriate music that complements and reinforces Sunday topics because they're not receiving them in time. Now, why is this a problem? With sacrament talks, it's different. Anyone can prepare a talk in a week. Most of us do it the night before, but you don't need to have topics months in advance for a speaker. With music, it's different. Music needs to be chosen far enough in advance for organists to practice, for the chairmen, directors, and choir directors to plan special musical numbers, order the music if necessary, and have enough time to rehearse. It takes months to prepare a choir piece, and if the choir is to be singing at least once a month, yes, ward choirs are to perform at least once a month. I have instructed your music chairs and choir directors on an easy way to make that happen. Now, they just need your support in making it happen. Even in wards who used to have a solid track record of planning topics far in advance, they are no longer doing this. The reason typically given is that the ward council now participates in the planning of sacrament meeting topics. So the question is now, how do we adapt to this new dynamic? In order to achieve a more reverent and spiritual sacrament service, like the one I experienced a few months ago, this issue must be resolved. Consider inviting your ward music chairman to ward council on the day Sunday topics are on the agenda. Please remember, those who serve in ward music callings cannot fulfill or magnify their calling effectively if they're not given the tools they need to do it. This is crucial and cannot be overlooked or brushed off because, it's just the music. Step 4. The bishopric consults regularly with the ward music chairman. So think about your relationship with your ward music chairman. Do you meet with them often? This is the individual with the power, skill, and the mantle of being able to put into play musical elements of worship that will greatly enhance the members' Sabbath day experience. This can be a job for your ward music advisor. Maybe set a standing appointment each month to go over current needs. Please, don't let it get to the point where it takes their tears in your office for them to get the support they're crying out for and have been crying for a long time. This is what some of them have actually had to do. This is how many of them feel. And all it takes is a sincere smile, taking them aside and asking, "What do you need? What do you need us to pray for? Who can we call to serve in the choir?" Then follow through. Step 5. Bishoprics support a ward choir by encouraging members to participate. As the bishopric more fully understands the value of ward choirs and the call for each ward to have an active choir who sings at least once a month, Members of the bishopric should be the choir's most vocal advocate and promoter. There is an instruction given to bishoprics in Handbook 2 that is greatly underused, and that is, the bishopric may invite or extend a calling to members to serve in choir. Who can we call into choir may be the greatest question any choir director or ward music chairman could hear. They may cry when you ask them. They will be tears of joy. Especially in a ward that is struggling to form a choir, an invitation or calling from the bishopric will make all the difference. Step 6. Bishoprics support the choir by making available a rehearsal time that is free of other ward conflicts. Now, this is another frustration that ranks among the top struggles of ward music chairmen. Choir is an opportunity for members to have unparalleled spiritual experiences. If you've sung in choir, you know what I'm talking about. Please work with the music leadership in your ward to come up with a schedule that ensures all who wish to attend choir will not be tied up in another meeting. 2 more left. Step 7. Be responsive. Communication today is done mostly through email or text messages. Many of your fellow servants are as busy in their personal lives as you are. Email and texting are quick and easy and are very effective when used appropriately, and inquiries are responded to in a reasonable amount of time. Is your email and cell number easily available in the directory or through LDS tools? Are they up to date? Is your listed email one you check regularly? Step 8. Bishoprics encourage members to participate in congregational singing, and they encourage members to use uplifting music in their homes. Just simple changes during the conducting of sacrament meeting, like reminding or inviting the congregation to focus on the words of the sacrament hymn when you announce it from the pulpit. I attended a meeting out of town where 5 minutes before sacrament started, a member of the bishopric stood and asked the congregation to quietly sit and focus on the prelude music to prepare their hearts and minds to be taught by the Spirit during the meeting. It's little reminders like that that improve the members' experience, teaching them how important sacred and uplifting music is to their personal and spiritual growth. Ultimately, like any other calling in the ward, your ward music chairman needs to feel confident they have your support, and I know they do. I've just laid out 8 simple ways you can show that support. Working together with your ward music chairman, director, and choir director is the only guaranteed way to increase their reverence and improve your members' experience in sacrament meeting.
After all, brothers and sisters, when we rejoice in beautiful scenery, great art, and great music, it is but the flexing of instincts acquired in another place and another time.